Welcome back to Gifted Guitars. Today we are continuing our work on this Succulent themed Les Paul style electric guitar for my brother-in-law Erik. Today we are still waiting for the lacquer to cure on this, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of work to the body of the guitar, but we are going to open up this neck here and try and do something very special with the neck of this guitar. I've always been interested in the decorative elements of guitars, and one such element is inlays. Pearl inlays, pearloid inlays. And what that is sort of an embellishment within the guitar. It's usually in the neck of the guitar, sometimes around the sides, sometimes anywhere, really. But they'll inlay some material that is shiny and fun, and one of the things that you can do with inlays that are already in a guitar is etching or engraving. I've never tried this. It is something that I'm interested in learning, and so I am going to try it out on this guitar that I've already put hours of work into. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but we're gonna give it a good solid try. And since I've never done this before, what I did is bought this. It is a piece of pearloid material that is for pick guards. So you would cut a pick guard out of this to put on your guitar. A lot of people that watch this channel right now don't know a whole lot about guitars. This part right here is the pick guard of a guitar. It protects your guitar from getting scratched up when you're playing with your pick. Since this material is very much like the material that is in the neck of the guitar right now, I figured I could use it to practice, to figure out how to do what it is that I plan on doing. If it works out, I could also make a cool element to put onto the headstock of this guitar. Anyway, there are a bunch of plans swirling around in my head. Let's just get into it and start cutting into some plastic and seeing what we can do here. This is not perfect, but I mean, aside from Jessica Ballinger, what is? Right? This is a little like skull, a bull skull or a cow skull. Some of Erik's home decor includes cow skulls, so I'm gonna try putting this on the headstock and see how it looks. Again, this was just an opportunity to sort of practice, but I think I can glue or epoxy that on there, and that's gonna look really cool. I've always liked the headstock of the Epiphone coronet, which kind of has a similar sort of looking embellishment to it. It's not like a skull, it's just like a shape, but I think this is gonna look really cool on this guitar, really bring it together. Now it's time to untape the neck of the guitar and start engraving all the little boxes that go down the neck of the guitar. I am nervous about this, but I'm also excited. This is fun. This is like a new thing. I've never done this before. So let's untape the neck and get right to it. Okay, we have one inlay down. That is a lot of fun to do. It's super meticulous, tiny little work, and it's super time consuming. And so if you're in the mood for it, it's a lot of fun. I'm the type of personality that doesn't mind a meticulous thing every once in a while. I used to do data entry and I just blast some music and just put that into the computer. I didn't mind that at all. I know a lot of people find that to be grueling work. This to me is super fun because it's artistic, it's difficult, it's a challenge, which I like, and it's a tiny little like thing that you have to you have to have patience for, which I think is a great exercise for anybody. For me particularly, I sometimes lose my patience. That happens. And to have something like this that is an artistic outlet that also requires patience, I don't know, I feel like it helps me in life to practice doing something patiently and then try and apply that to the rest of life. So to me, this is a lot of fun. I know for you guys, I'm probably putting some royalty-free music in the background and speeding up the footage a little bit so you're seeing it in a fraction of the time. For me, in life right now, it is a very slow process. So I throw on some music, work on it, and it's nice, it's soothing. So far, right now, I've got one done. There's 8 more to go, so. We'll check back in when I'm completely done with it, and I'll tell you how the patience is going. All right, having done this a few times, this is my last one, I've learned a couple things about using these. First off, this should be a lot shorter. I was scared to cut it. It said in the instructions to cut it down, and I will do that for future ones, but for now, I'm leaving it the length that it is. Basically, it seems like you have the most control if you're pushing more with the heel of your hand, like this, and all of the pressure is going straight through to the tip forward from the back here. And as long as that pressure is even, slow, and steady, you can kind of angle this however you want in order to make your cuts. So I'll start over here, and I'm using as many fingers as I can get close to the tip of this to try and steady it while I'm pushing forward from the back. My fingers are not really putting much pressure on anything. They're more like a guide. And you can see I probably sped up the footage of those other engravings. But the slower I can do this, the better it turns out. I also know that typically this kind of work is done before these metal parts, the frets, get put into a guitar typically, if this kind of work is done on a fretboard. And that would make it a lot easier, that's for sure. It really does tend to get in the way. And you might have noticed me bump the camera a few times earlier. It's one of the challenges of making a video while you're doing this. All right, I think I am done with all the engraving now. That was a lot of fun, very challenging, but a lot of fun to do. And that's sort of the final look. They're all different succulents and cactuses, or cacti. And I think it turned out pretty good, especially for my first time. They kind of look like sketches. This is an art form that I'm really looking forward to learning more about and getting better at in the future. Like I said, this is my first time. All the guitar builds are a learning process for me. If I'm not learning something through the process of building the guitar, I don't feel like it's served its purpose. And so far, every guitar that I've made, I've pushed myself, tried new things. And this guitar, I think I might have pushed myself the furthest with out of all the guitars that I've done so far, what with the staining, the wood burning, the engraving, and the little headstock thing. That's a lot of new stuff for me. But super fun, very, very inspirational to make a guitar for Erik. While we've got the guitar out like this, I wanna get all the frets leveled and polished. I also wanna round off the edges of all the frets, and there was a little bit of spillover. This is the first time I'm really seeing it, but on the binding here on the neck, you can see right here, it sort of spilled over a little bit. I want to try and scrape as much of that off as possible and just get the neck exactly where it needs to be while I've got the guitar out like this. Really enjoyed this guitar kit throughout the whole build process, but the fretboard on this was way more uneven than a lot of the other guitar kits that I've gotten, and I'm not totally sure why that is. But it took a lot to get them all even across, and the reason you do that, if one of the frets is up too high, the string's gonna kind of touch it as it vibrates. And if it touches it while it vibrates, it's gonna create a buzzing sound, which is really annoying, not the sound that you want your guitar to make. It's not making the beautiful note, it's making more of a deadened buzz sound. So I had to file down every single one of the frets that has a mark next to it. So all of these had to get filed down a little bit, and now I need to round them back over again with a special file. This is a lot of work, like it's a lot of extra work. It's gonna make the guitar play a lot better than it would have if I just put strings on it and called it a day. But I'm actually kind of surprised given the high quality of the rest of the build process and the components of this. I thought that the frets would be pretty close, but it's taken some work here. Not a problem, just a little extra work. All right. That was quite a bit of buffing. My hand is so dirty now from doing that fret polishing, but it's looking beautiful. The frets are just shiny, super shiny. Look at the shine on those. And now I'm gonna take the tape off, but in order to keep the guitar safe and keep the tape from picking up anything that it shouldn't pick up, I'm gonna be using a hairdryer on a low setting to loosen up the glue of the tape so that I can peel it off. Hopefully that'll protect the whole fretboard and nothing bad will happen. That's the hope. After taking the tape off of the fretboard, I sort of felt along the edges and realized that I couldn't get close enough to the actual guitar with the file to really get all the rough edges off of the ends of the frets. Basically, the tape just made just enough of a space where, even though I was filing it down, the sharp bottom bits of all the frets were still there. So I'm going back in with my file without the tape on, being really careful and rounding off those edges so that they're not sharp anymore. And finally, I'm going to treat the fretboard with this oil, sort of hydrate the wood a little bit. It's really dry, thirsty looking right now. I've said this before on this channel, this is one of my favorite things to do on a guitar that has a dry fretboard because the whole fretboard just comes alive when you do this. So I invite you to watch the magic happen. See? Magic. That is beautiful. I mean, that like totally transforms this entire guitar, I feel like. I'm gonna stand back a little so you can see it in all of its glory. Huh? I think that's beautiful. I love the inlays. I think they turned out really nice. I love the feeling of the frets now. They feel fantastic. And I think this is a really good high point to end today's episode on. This guitar neck brings the guitar together, which is really what I was hoping for. It turned out better than I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping like, oh, I might be able to get these inlays to do something. I'm not sure. And worst case scenario, completely ruin the guitar. I didn't do that. So I'm gonna count this as a win. I really like it. I think it's great. It's fantastic. I want to thank you so much for watching today's episode. By next week, this is going to be ready for its final polish. We'll get to see what the guitar looks like with all of its components on. Maybe we'll even be able to string it up and play it. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But I'm really liking this guitar. I feel like this is the classiest guitar that I've made so far. It is very Erik feeling right now. I was worried that I was gonna kind of miss the mark. Erik kind of has this particular aesthetic, but I don't know. I think I'm doing okay. Anyway, to make sure you don't miss next week's episode, I highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell so you get the notifications for this channel. That way you see it as soon as I post it. It's gonna be a great episode next week. I'm very excited about it. If you liked today's episode, make sure you give it a thumbs up. In the comment section down below, if you've never played guitar before, I wanna know what's the first song you would wanna learn on the guitar. And if you do play guitar, tell me what was the first song that you did learn how to play. I'm always looking for new songs to learn on the guitar, so check my Instagram, see if maybe I'll do a cover of one of the songs that you recommend in the comment section today. Thanks again for watching today, and I will see you next week.